Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. We started this podcast in the middle of conflict about what we wanted to talk about. And we were like, fuck, why don't we just shoot us arguing about this? So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to try to keep it shorter so it's a little more bite-sized. But there are a lot of different perspectives on the Open in October, and I think we want to hit it, and then we want to talk about why we are all doing it. So I'm going to give you, actually, should we start with me, because I feel like I'm negative.
Sure, you go ahead.
So this is my perspective on where we are right now with the Open. Last year we had a transition from CrossFit HQ kind of manning what the Open looked like, and it just sort of filtered down into the affiliates to take care of that. And as you guys know, and I feel like this, if the coaches here aren't excited about something, it's hard to get people or membership excited about it. I feel the same way about the Open. If the people running the Open aren't excited about it and they're just kind of banking on the affiliates to generate all of the excitement about it, I'm not saying we can't make it exciting. I'm just saying it makes it harder. It just adds another element that we need to try to contribute. So that made it feel different for me. I don't know if that means it felt worse, but it certainly knocked the starch out of my previous Open feelings. And I'm still maybe working through that as a coach and owner here. Your turn.
Honesty.
Well,
Okay.
is that not? I mean, that's
fair.
how I feel.
Fair.
That doesn't mean I don't think we should. We're going to chat about why I think we should still do the Open, but I just want everybody to know that that's my opinion on it.
All
So
right.
here's the naysayers.
So, well, maybe we should just clarify that we do fully support that everyone in the gym should participate in the
yes,
October
we
Open.
do feel that way.
And you will understand
Right.
why shortly. But I can sympathize with Chris that it was only, and I'm sure many of you guys feel this way as well, that it was not that long ago that we poured a bunch of energy into the Open. So this is a quick turnaround to try to build that up again. However, I still think it's beneficial to complete the workouts and reflect on where you did well, where you did not do so well, and support your fellow members as they complete their workouts.
And then it's done for another year. Totally.
Then-
Officially. Won't see it again until next October.
Right.
Yes.
That's definitely all true. The other thing I would note that's probably really symbolic of the Open itself, when we did our throwback pictures on Facebook, like almost all of those pictures of the best memories people have in the Open at our gym are Open related, except for maybe the possible exception of Murph. So obviously there's something about the Open that even through the turmoil and changes is still really powerful and impactful. And some of the apprehensions or misfeelings that people have about it may just as much be about the oncoming onslaught of discomfort that we can often associate with the 5 weeks. So I said this, and Amanda wasn't like super on board, but this is my feelings, and then she can interject, and Thea as well. I think over the past 6 months, at least, we've made a conscious effort to be a little less whiteboard oriented and a little more focused on good movement patterns, and looking at a real individual training style for a lot of people and making sure they're getting out of the workouts what they need to get out of the workouts. I would encourage everybody, and this is how I'm looking at it, I would encourage everybody to take that, if you're having a hard time getting motivated for the Open, take that training philosophy into the next 5 weeks. So this can be about your best performance, not from a time point of view, but from a standard and skill point of view is maybe the best way to look at it. Is that fair?
I do actually agree with everything.
Not
that you
bad,
said.
not bad.
That was good.
Okay, is there anything
Yeah.
you'd like to add?
No, I just think that it's important with any Open, not just this one, but I think that oftentimes when people are disappointed with their performance, it has to do with the level of expectations that they had on themselves. So if you can go into the 5 weeks just wanting to give your best on that day, stick to a game plan, or not make mistakes that you've made in the past. Those are all ways that you can look at improving on your result, as opposed to where you end up on the leaderboard, or beating somebody else that you were competing against.
Right.
And I think, like, I know that Amanda and I kind of talked about this during the last Open, but leaving each workout in a state that we wanted to come back for the next one. So that meant, like, changing our mindsets and kind of focusing on how we feel during a workout instead of total, like, outcomes. Because if you only focus on outcomes, you're going to feel really crappy by week 1, and it's not going to make you want to keep coming back. But if you focused on, like, I'm going to stay composed during this workout, I'm going to focus on breathing through it, staying relaxed, you come out kind of in a better place.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. So here's the caveat or the question that I think may be associated with our perspective. Why do the Open and be judged if I'm just coming in from a training standpoint and I can just do it on my own time, or I can do it during the sessions that we're running and, save myself the crippling depression is often associated with being judged through a workout? Do you have any input on that?
I do. I shared it with Thea this morning, but it's not exactly podcast
Not PR
appropriate.
friendly.
Yeah.
Cool.
I guess, don't understand. I struggle to understand why people get into that mindset. For me, the judge and the writing down your score, and like, those are all just factors that aid to the experience. So, it's one thing to do a workout by yourself and talk and do all of the things that Thea just talked about, remain composed and breathe through it, and like, execute the way that you want to do it. It's completely different when you're in that environment of everybody cheering for you and the judge is there, and yeah, it can definitely have it can elicit a feeling of nervousness or increase the pressure that you put on yourself. However, it can also give you the push that you might need to do something for the first time that you've never done before.
There are so many people who, in February when we were doing the Open, got their first chest to bar pull-ups, their first wall balls, cleaned a whole bunch of weight, were doing toes to bar, and that's just something they didn't know they were capable of, and like corny and cliche as it sounds, until they were in a competitive environment. And this is like the safest competitive environment you'll
Right.
find. You're in your own gym with your own people, but you still have that, like, a little bit of competitive environment that makes people do cool
It
things.
may, sorry, go ahead.
I also think that the people that sort of shy away from that setup are also just, again, having trouble coming to terms with the fact that, like, the reason that you feel that way when certain workouts come up is because it's addressing a weakness that you want to be better at. So I know that, Chris, you can share, that for many of the first Opens that we did as a gym, every time the chest to bar workout came up, there was tears, and I was sad, and I didn't want to do it, because for me it just, was basically rubbing it in my face that I was no better at gymnastics, and et cetera, et cetera. It wasn't until I changed my mindset and really started to address that weakness and came to terms with the fact that there are going to be workouts that come up that have your weaknesses, and you can either attack the workout and be proud of your progress or sulk about it. And I can guarantee you that it's way more fun to attack it and try to find a positive outcome than it is to be sad about it. And
Yeah.
I truly believe that that's a choice.
Right. I guess I'd also look at it from, if you took a step back, I wish we could flash up that Roosevelt quote about being in the arena, and it's better to,
I can read it.
can you? Well, let's avoid the cliche lines, but people can look at it. But the general understanding is it's more admirable to be in the arena and take a swing at it, knowing that defeat is an option or even inevitable, than to live in sort of a gray zone that doesn't know either success or failure.
Nailed
So,
it.
Is that
That was
not
great.
bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's you should always take pride and admiration in doing the fucking best you can at something that's really hard. And that's where I would leave that. Yeah, okay, so how are we now? Do we feel better?
Yeah, I feel great. Do you want to try to give why are you doing the open?
Yeah,
Great.
let's do it.
Okay, so I'd already touched on it, but I've changed my training style a little bit to be, again, more focused on the idea of training sessions rather than competition sessions. And I was always very competitively mindset, and I still am. But my goal in this year's Open is to, one, make it through with the same level of energy in the first workout as the fifth workout, so I sustain sort of a steady mentality through each workout, and also to appreciate the effort I'm putting in across the 5 weeks. Go for it.
I'm doing the open to sort of monitor my progress. The open that we did in March, I was just shortly after rehabbing my ankle, so I'm hoping that I've improved my fitness a little bit since then, and I'm looking to measure that.
Cool. Coach?
I'm doing the open because I really, really like being an example for our members and showing them that I still struggle with a lot of things and that I've also gotten better at a lot of things, and that's not by magic, that's just by working on them. And I really, really do love seeing other people do cool things.
Cool. All right, so if you're feeling down about the Open, I hope this podcast is the one that's going to get you through. If you're feeling excited about the Open,
Don't listen to this
yeah,
podcast.
or fucking pass it on. All right, thank you guys.
Sweet.